Ed Eyestone is with us today, and he's preparing for the Olympic trials to be held this June at the LA Coliseum. Ed, it's good to have you with us.
Nice to be here.
Could you tell us some of the things that you're doing right now to prepare for these Olympic trials?
Right now, I'm got some responsibilities with the BYU track team. So presently, I'm training for the 2 mile to run indoors, and then I'll be focusing on outdoor track. And outdoor track is what I'll be running the 10,000 meters in. So right now, it's just a lot of heavy training and practice.
What time do you need to compete with the other people that will be there in LA?
To have a realistic shot in the 10,000 meters, I've got to run right about 28 minutes, 28 flat for the 10,000 meters.
How fast do you run right now?
Last year I had a time of 28:46, which is good enough to qualify me for the Olympic trials itself. But I don't know, hopefully things are going to be a lot better this year. I feel a lot stronger than I was last year, and I think with another year of experience that I can cut some time off my time.
How many people go to the Olympic trials?
Well, it just depends how many people make the qualifying mark. Now, the qualifying mark is right about 28:47, and so I'd anticipate about 20 athletes from the United States making the trials.
How many people are chosen from the trials to actually go to the Olympics?
The United States has well, the most they can take are 3 individuals, and so they'll be taking 3.
So the competition is pretty stiff then.
It really is, and so it's kind of scary in a way, but we'll see what happens.
I'm sure that you've competed in many other races and other competitions. Could you tell us about some of those other competitions that you've been in?
Sure thing. My freshman year, back in '80, was the first time I really experienced international competition. And in that occasion, I had the opportunity to run in the World Cross Country Championships, which were held in Paris, France. And back in '80, I was only 19 years of age at the time, so I was running in the junior division, and there I was able to get 3rd in the World Cross Country Championships, and it was a really neat experience. My first time overseas, over to Europe and Paris especially, and it was pretty neat. Besides that, as far as international competition is concerned, last year I also competed in the World Cross Country Championships, only this time as a senior, since I was 21 years of age, and there we had the opportunity to travel to Gateshead, England, and to run there. And this year, I've also qualified for the World Cross Country Championships once again, which will be held in March, and that'll be held in New York City. So I'm excited for that right now.
You're also a student at BYU. How do your studies combine with all these extracurricular activities?
Studies can definitely be a challenge, but I try to keep things in perspective. I am here as a student, and so I have to study, of course. And but fortunately, my teachers are pretty good with me. They don't really let me get out of any work, unfortunately, but they do sometimes let me get the work in a little bit later, and I really appreciate, all the help they give me with that.
What is your major here?
I'm majoring in psych right now, psychology, and I anticipate on going for a master's in psychology with a sporting emphasis, and hopefully get into coaching someday in the college level.
How many years left do you have at BYU?
Presently, I have one complete year. I have 1 outdoor track to run, and then 1 complete year next year.
What are some of the things that you're currently doing in your training to get ready for these Olympic trials? Are you working out with weights?
Well, as you can probably tell by my general physique, I haven't been doing a whole lot of work on the weights recently. The only time I can really do a lot of weight workout is during the summer, during the off-season, and since I'm competing almost year-round, it's kind of tough to exactly work on the weights. But besides working on the weights, I do a lot of over-distance running and a lot of interval workouts on the track, and I try to keep my mileage up to about 70 or 80 miles a week.
Wow, how many miles do you run a day?
Well, it just depends, but it more or less averages to about 15 miles a day. I do 5 in the morning and about 10 in the afternoon with the team.
What do you do during the really cold weather? Do you run outdoors?
In the really cold weather, we just dress warm, and we usually go outside, unless there's really heavy snow and ice like we've been experiencing, and then I'll do the workout indoors.
Are you on any sort of a special diet to get ready for the Olympics?
Swanson meat pies, and no, actually, I just eat like any other student. Unfortunately, I don't. My dad would like me to eat a lot better, and he supplies me with lots of vitamins and stuff like that. And actually, I really don't eat that bad. I eat a lot in the cougar eat, and so that tells you basically what my diet is like.
How does BYU's program here compare to other universities' programs?
Well, with all the universities that I've seen and where I've competed, I'd say BYU has one of the best programs definitely in the nation. As far as facilities are concerned, we've got the best that I've ever seen. And we just got in a new track, an outdoor track, a couple of years ago, and that is ranked as one of the best college tracks in the nation.
Thank you, Ed. We'll be right back after this break with more Probe. We're talking to Ed Eyestone about his preparations for the Olympic trials. Ed, could you tell us a little bit about how you get to represent the LDS Church when you're on these road trips?
Sure thing, Ann. Basically, my dad has supplied me with a bunch of Book of Mormons, and whenever I go out, I try to make sure to take a couple along with me. It was interesting. This past summer, I was competing in the World University Games in Edmonton, Canada, and there we had the unique opportunity. I was staying with another LDS athlete who competes for Weber State, and the people who were going to be the guests of honor at the particular games were Prince Charles and Lady Diana. And so we thought that would be pretty neat if we got to meet them, and sure enough, we found out that they would be touring the athletes' facilities, and so we were kind of excited about that. But first of all, we just thought they'd be driving by in a car with bulletproof windows and everything and just kind of wave out the windows. But as it turned out, we came back from lunch one afternoon, and all the athletes were lining the road, and Prince Charles was walking down one side, Lady Diana was coming down the other. So we ran down, grabbed one of the Book of Mormons, and hurried and put our testimonies inside of it. And then when Prince Charles came by, since he is the head of the family, of course, we gave the Book of Mormon to Prince Charles and talked with him for a minute. And it was pretty exciting just to be able to talk with him. And then, of course, as soon as we got done talking with him, we ran over to the other side so we could shake Lady Diana's hand.
Were you able to send the missionaries to Prince Charles? Or?
Well, as of yet, I'm not sure when his baptismal date is, but we'll have to keep an eye on the paper. But he was really nice. We told him that we were LDS, and he said that he knew a lot of members there in England, and he remarked that that was the thing that was keeping us going in our long-distance pursuits. And so apparently he's talked with the LDS missionaries before.
You served a mission, didn't you?
Yeah, between right after my freshman year, 80 to 82, I was in the Spain-Barcelona mission. And there I had the opportunity of just being regular missionary, going to door and teaching people about the gospel. As far as training was concerned during those 2 years, I really didn't get a whole lot of training in. I was able to do a lot of walking and a lot of knocking on doors, but as far as competing in any races, I didn't do anything, and I really didn't start running until about the last 3 months on a mission. I was able to get out a couple times a week.
Was it difficult to come back and train again?
I was surprised that it wasn't as difficult as I really thought it would be. Fortunately, I didn't gain a lot of weight like some people did in the mission. No reference to any of the sister missionaries or anything. But I came back and I was still as skinny as ever, and so I just started running, and I got back in late July, and in September I was competing for BYU once again.
Was it a difficult decision to go on a mission, or did your coaches support you in that?
The coaches gave me all the support in the world, and basically a mission had been something I'd wanted to do all my life, and so that was basically my first priority. And so when the time came to go on a mission, even though I was running, fairly well, I decided to go on. Plus, in distance running, a distance runner typically doesn't reach his peak until his late 20s. And so I knew that if I could just not gain a whole lot of weight and stay motivated, that when I got back, I could get back into it.
Do you have a sponsor?
Well, I wear Nike shoes when I run, and they fortunately are able to send me to certain meets which the university isn't able to send me to. So I guess Nike would be my sponsor. I like Nike.
You mentioned earlier to me that you also train by running marathons. Is that correct?
Well, I had the opportunity of running a marathon about a month and a half ago in Houston. It was the first time I'd ever tried a marathon, and I just wanted to do it to get a time for the Olympic trials in the marathon. And marathon is a long race. I would not suggest going into it if you're not really ready, if you haven't been putting in the mileage for it. And I was previously thinking of competing in the Olympic trials in the marathon. Since I have ran a qualifying time, I have the opportunity to do that, but I think I'll just concentrate on the 10,000 meters because to run a really good marathon right now, I'd have to spend a lot more time running, and I really don't have the time.
What goes through your mind on that last mile of the marathon?
The last mile of the marathon, you're just thinking, I hope my legs can hold out for another mile. It's a good feeling when you're done, though, that's for sure.
I can imagine. Well, Ed, we wish you the best of luck. We've really enjoyed having you on the show, and we'll be interested to see how you do in L.A.
Thanks, Ann. Nice talking to you.
Have you ever been to L.A. before?
Yeah, I've been there about 20 times. It's a nice place, and I just hope it's not too contaminated come '84.
Well, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.